let's get down to business and talk about some props. So if you're watching this at home, I imagine that you want to practice at home in some capacity, which I actually highly recommend to everyone. Even if you love to go to a yoga studio, I recommend having your own home practice. My home practice has transformed my life and my very well-being, and it's very hard for me to go through a day without whipping out my yoga mat at home. So I encourage you to find a space in your home and make it beautiful, make it your little sanctuary where you can go to relax and reflect and to get inspired. So maybe that's a specific place in your living room where you roll out your mat, or maybe you actually have the luxury of setting up a little room for yourself. Mine happens to be kind of in between my kitchen and my dining room, so it feels a little set apart, but nonetheless, it's great. Props. For working at home, like when you're doing your yoga practice at home, I just recommend having minimal props, because a lot of times you can find things around your house like a little blanket or a pillow cushion off of your sofa, something like that, that you can modify. You don't have to go crazy and go buy a ton of props. The most important thing, obviously, is to find a mat, and I recommend finding one that has a pretty sticky surface. If you're like me, your palms get kind of sweaty, your feet get kind of sweaty, and you can kind of slip around. So that also requires a little bit of an investment, because usually the better mats are a little bit more expensive, but you're not going to have to replace it. When I first started practicing yoga, I got a little cheapy yoga mat from Target, and after going to this pretty awesome yoga studio in Astoria, it just fell apart on me. One day I left with all these little pink speckles on me, and I was just like, I'm throwing this away and getting a new one. So I just encourage you to get a yoga mat that actually works and that has the thickness that you might need. So if you have sensitive knees or sensitive joints, you might want to get a little bit of a thicker mat. If that doesn't bother you at all, or if you're working on a carpeted surface at home, you can get a thinner mat, no problem. I happen to love Lululemon mats. I think that they're the best in the biz. I've tried a ton of them from all different companies, and I honestly think the mat from Lululemon, that's what it's called, the mat, I think it's the best one. But you please take a peek. A lot of companies are great and let you try them out if you go into their store or whatnot. So that's that. I would say if you're looking to practice pretty regularly at home, and if you're going to be watching a lot of my videos that I put out, I definitely recommend having some blocks. And they're pretty inexpensive. I'd say they're like 10 bucks. But these are just pretty lightweight foam ones. I hide them in a little bookshelf, and it's no big deal. I will say that people sometimes don't buy props because they're worried that it means that they're not good or that it's a crutch. I use blocks all the time, and I've been practicing yoga for years and years and years. It is just a great, great tool to support you in getting to the next step. So even now, there are moments when I just really, really need a block because I need to stay upright and I need my hand down on the block. So just have at least one block, have 2 blocks. It's just a nice luxury to have. You can do a lot of really juicy, relaxing, restorative poses with blocks. A lot of heart openers and hip openers and back bends and things that don't take a lot of effort if you have props. So I definitely recommend a block or 2. The final thing that I would recommend you purchasing, which is like 12 bucks, is a strap. It's just a great way to stretch. If you can't quite reach your foot, you can wrap the strap around your foot and stretch it longer. It's a great way to work on some extensions to the side. And you can also, again, do a lot of nice restorative poses and things with the strap. So it's a really excellent prop to have hanging around the house. If you don't want to buy one, I'm sure that you can find something in your house to substitute. Maybe your husband's belt or something like that. I don't know. That's all I have as far as props. If you have any questions about props, please leave me a comment and ask me a question. I'm happy to answer. Find me on Facebook. I'm very active in my community, and I would love to answer any of your questions about yoga props, companies, things like that. Alrighty, have an amazing day, and go order yourself some props. Namaste. Namaste.